Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. It's Friday. It's Friday, baby. And it's time to party. I'm not in the best of mood this morning. Nothing that has happened with the car, nothing that's happened with family or Christopher. It's that mother effing job. This punk bitch that I work with, I've had enough. So I've started to make some phone calls to file some harassment papers. Enough is enough. It's just enough. So he gets in trouble yesterday because of some shit he didn't do. And so then he wants to go up and tell the GF, the general foreman, about what I wear and what another young lady wears. And nobody shuts him down. He's taking pictures of me. I've told you all that here on the video. He's taking pictures of me. And nobody's done nothing. Nothing. So I called my union yesterday. My union gave me some advice. My union told me what to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Because I can't keep going to work like this. So now we can't wear the stretch pants, the stretch yoga pants that are comfortable. We got to have on our boots. And I ain't even on the truck. So I just put my gym shoes in the bag. When I get to where I'm going, take them boots off, put my gym shoes back on. So, you know, I have just had enough. I have had enough. Every goddamn day is something different with this motherfucker. You know, they know he's a problem. They know what he does, but they do nothing. You don't write him up. You don't suspend him. You don't do nothing. Nothing. They know he get high on the job. They know he smoke weed. They don't do nothing. He can bust gas lines. He can tear up saws. He can tear up vans. And you all do nothing. But you want to come and get in my face about some motherfucking boots and some yoga pants. Get the fuck out my face. So I'm a little pissed. I'm a little pissed. You know, I'm a little pissed. So I just got to woosah before I go up in here. Because I'm angry. I'm mad. I don't like coming home, bringing home, taking home nothing that happened on my job. You know, I just don't. Then this morning I woke up to some very, very disturbing news because I sleep with my TV on all night. And I woke up to, as soon as the news came on at 4:30 this morning, there was breaking news that there was a 36-year-old Chicago police officer that was shot and killed. She was a female. So, of course, when I heard the headline saying a police officer was shot and killed on South Side, I instantly thought of my nephew because my nephew works nights. You know, evenings, nights, or whatever, until the I think he gets like off like at 1 a.m. So my heart just jumped, and I'm waiting for the commercial to go off and them to come back on. It just scared the shit out of me. You know, it just scared the shit out of me. And you know, I know my nephew wanted to be a cop. You know, like his dad. He's following in his dad, my sister's ex-husband's footsteps. And I know things can happen to people, whether you're a cop, fireman, just a regular civilian person. I know that. But I'm telling you, the streets of Chicago are just rough. And this was on the south side, 82nd and Drexel in the Chatham neighborhood, right over here, not too far from where I live. It's a little rough down there. It's a lot of Section 8 or whatever, but apparently they were stopping this person, and this person ran up into an apartment building, and then he shot at police. And I'm telling y'all, and she was young. She was 36 years of age, and she had a small child. It just breaks my heart. Last year, we had a guy who was young police officer shot and killed. The year before that, we had a woman that was shot and killed. The year before that, we had another woman that was shot. These are all police officers. Whew, Lord mercy. Jesus, it's just too much. It's just too much. So I just ask you all to pray for the city of Chicago, to pray over our teens this summer, as most of them, some of them will be working and some of them won't be, and so they'll be getting into stuff that they shouldn't probably be getting into. And I just ask that you all just pray for our police officers, just our city as a whole, not one unit, but the city as a whole. Please keep my nephew in your prayers. If you are a prayer warrior and you pray, please, please, please pray for my nephew, that God will continue to put a hedge of protection around him. He's a cop, and he just became a cop. He's been a cop, I think, a year now. So he's still considered, a rookie. He loves the job. The job pays good money, of course, and he's 35, I believe. I don't know how old he is. I think he's 35. But see, when they said 36, 30, that age, that's the age that he's at. So, I'm telling y'all, my heart just jumped and tightened. I was like, oh my God. Because you just never know, because it's that type of job, it's just the truth. It's that type of job. You don't know from minute to minute, to second, to hour what's going to happen. Whew. I know I look rough too. I ain't put no lipstick on. I hate getting on camera without no lipstick. I ain't put the rest of my makeup on. So, pray for our city, because we need it. Because every time it gets just a little warm, here come all the demons. Now here come all the people out of the woodworks, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So just keep us in your thoughts and in your prayers. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's the roughest street. Good Lord. Get over here. So, anyway, this thing keeps falling. Let's see, maybe that'll hold it. Okay. I'm just, like I said, I'm disgusted. I'm just so disgusted. But it is Friday. I thank God for another day. I hope you all had a good week. Hope you had a good day on yesterday. Anybody have any plans for the weekend? Only thing I got going on is that party Sunday. I plan to do nothing really too much tomorrow. Let's see. That's about it. And next Saturday I have a birthday party to go to. So I'm just looking forward to being away from coming here 5 days a week, dealing with this unnecessary BS is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I don't know who the hell designed it where you have to work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and be away from your home more than you at home. I don't know who came up with that. Anybody know? Let me know. I wanted to show you all. It's kind of went down, but yesterday I went to Wendy's to get a salad on lunch, right? And as I was coming out the door, you know how you just push the door? I just pushed the door, and a big bruise came up in my hand. I'm like, what is this about? And this happened before. Like, I can grab something a certain type of way, and it'll like hurt a little bit. Like I get like a little pain or something, or like the like it's tender, and a bruise will pop up. Something that I've pressed on, or it's real. I said I was gonna Google it and see what is that. I don't know. My foot feels better, but last night I had to get up in the middle of the night and take some Tylenol. My foot was just throbbing and aching, and I don't know, child, I just don't know. You driving that car looking like that? I don't know if you all can see it because my hands are kind of dry. See that bruise right here? See that bruise? It's a bruise right in there. It was real purple yesterday, and it still hurt. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It hadn't happened in a long time, but now it has happened again. It was all purple. I'm like, what the hell is this all about? So I'm kind of like in a funky mood, but I don't like nobody disturbing my peace. Real talk. I really don't. Something else I want to tell you all. I don't know. I was gonna tell y'all something. I don't know. I did want to show y'all some stuff I got from TJ Maxx. I was trying to find a necklace, and I know I got one at home downstairs, and all that stuff and all that jewelry. I know I got a necklace, but I don't feel like going down there to search for it. But I wanted to wear this necklace Sunday to this party, and I had seen it in TJ Maxx, and it was like $16.99. So I went and got that necklace the other day, and then I saw a purple necklace that was $16, and I'm gonna wear that next Saturday to the party. And I bought some earrings. What else? I think that was it. So, anywho, my mother got I don't know if I told you all that we have a humane society shelter. That's where I've adopted my cats from. So they sent the email. I didn't see it. My mother was telling me they sent the email saying that somebody put 14 cats like in a crate for them to die. And somebody found the cats. They're kittens. And brought them to the shelter. And so the shelter is just overwhelmed right now with cats. And this is cat mating season. And this is the season where a lot of cats are being born. And they can't take on any more cats because they have so many. So they asking for people to like donate food and, you know, stuff like that, you know, for these kittens, for these cats. And, you know, asking people to maybe come and volunteer. My mother was like, I'll take stuff, and I'm not a cat person. And she has a cat. She's more of a dog person. I don't know why she's not a cat person. She's had 3 cats, but she ain't a cat person. She don't want no cat sitting on her lap. She don't want no cat. And see, I like cats. You know, of course, you all know I have 2. I've had so many. And, my grandparents had a cat. They had a dog, a big dog, and they had a cat. And I had never been around cats. We had Wendy and Kojak. And then my grandfather had dogs, big dogs, German Shepherds. And so nobody in the family had a cat. And they ended up getting a cat. And I would go over there and this cat just took to me. And this cat jumped on my lap one day. I was a teenager, I think, and I was looking at this cat. I started playing with the cat, and I said, I like him. It was a boy. Then they got another cat, and I fell in love with that cat. So that's how I started being a cat lover, because of my grandparents. And they just as bad as a dog. Y'all hear me hollering in the video. That one cat I have, Carmel ain't nothing but a thug. Her ass, oh, she horrible. Out of all the cats I've had, she's the worst cat I've ever had. Just horrible. But anywho, so we're gonna go tomorrow. I said that to say we're gonna go tomorrow and take some stuff to the shelter to help them out, because they are just inundated with cats. So I certainly I understand, but I've gotten all except for Coconut was a stray, and I've taken in Mink was a stray. I didn't get her from neither one of them from the shelter, but everybody else that every other cat I've had adopted, I adopted them from the shelter. So, and there was something else I wanted to tell you all. I'm trying to think. That's why a lot of times I do videos when something is right on my mind, because I know I'm gonna forget, because I have brain fog, serious brain fog. Would you come over here till I get over there? Oh, yesterday remember yesterday I did the video talking about men and how men cheat and this, that, other. Why? As soon as I got off the video yesterday, my co-worker, he an older gentleman, he told me yesterday he's 70 years old. You can tell he was a good-looking guy. His nephew works here too, in my department. Now, I got a crush on his nephew. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's real cute. And so he came over to me and he was talking about how pretty, he's like, you always got on different colored lipsticks and you got some pretty lips. You see my point? This is my point. It's not hard to get a man, ladies. It's just not. Men flirt all the time and always saying something, and I'm like, dude, go somewhere. Nephew's your nephew. But I wouldn't date his nephew either. I told y'all I don't want to date nobody that I work with. Because see, I got to tell you, you play with me, I'm gonna do something to you, for real. Don't play with me. So it's just best not to date nobody at work, because then you ain't got to worry about seeing them at work and all of that old crap, But anywho, I had some other stuff to tell y'all, but my mind is just blank. I can't think right now because, it's just too much going on at this funky ass place. Just too much going on. Contact you to let you know if they gonna hire you or not. I'm trying to do everything I can to get the fuck out of here. So I hate this place. I really, really do. It's always something here. Always. And they act like they scared of this punk. That's the thing that really unnerves me. And usually don't be no cars in front of me. I don't know where all these people came from. I think sometimes they learn a shortcut like I do. And once it's just like once a bunch of people learn the same kind of shortcut, it's a wrap. Anywho. Well, the light turned green, so that's a good thing. Christopher told me yesterday. So he has a little boy in his class. Well, they ain't little boys, teenagers. This is kid at his school. You know, it kind of just, I feel sorry for this young man because it's really hard being a single mother and your kids want what other kids have and you really can't afford the latest iPhones and PlayStations and Nike hoodies and all these things that these kids have, you know. I remember being in high school and a lot of the kids, kids in my school had designer outfits and stuff. And park right here because I know he ain't here. He not here, is he?
No.
Okay.
If he ain't here now, see,
right? Because he started 6, right?
Now me, ain't no telling where I might jump off that motherfucking roof. Hey.
Yeah, you straggle in whenever you want to. You say I don't give a damn.
I'm trying to make it, baby. You have a good one.
You too, sweetheart. Oh boy, that's too funny. How you doing? Ugly self. Yesterday, he hadn't made it here yet, right? So I had parked in his spots. Then he come pulling up. So I was like, hey, I'm like, I didn't know you was coming, so I parked in your spot. And he was laughing. So that's why he was saying that, because it's true. You never know. We never know when he gonna pop up. But since I'm right here, let me go punch right now. I'm right here at the door. Be right back. Oh, okay. Like I might as well punch in. So I'm right here, right? Might as well. So anyway, this kid that goes to Christopher's school, his mom has a few other kids. Okay, she's got him and I think either 3 or 4 more, something like that. Well, the dad was killed, or something happened with the dad. The dad it wasn't that he was a, well, I don't know if he was a deadbeat or not, but the dad died. So the dad died. The mama is working 2 jobs. Okay, she got these kids and she working these 2 jobs. So she's trying her best, right? Just to feed them. So when Christopher got the new PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4 I bought him some years ago. I worked overtime. I saved my money, and it was Cyber Friday or Cyber Monday or something like that. And I was on at 3 o'clock in the morning ordering that game from Target. Guess that bruise is not as purple, but see how red it is? It's weird. So I bought him that PlayStation when he was 8. Yeah, that was in 2015. So since then, he has gotten the new PlayStation 5. My mother bought it. So you know how kids do. They go back from winter break and they be like, "What you get for Christmas? What you get for Christmas?" That's just what kids do. So Christopher told him that he got the PlayStation 5. So he told Christopher, "Ask your mother if I can have your PlayStation 4." Now there's nothing wrong with the PlayStation 4, okay? But the plan was that we were going to take the PlayStation 4 when we got the house, and we were going to hook it up in the basement so that when his friends came over, they could go down in the basement and they could play the game. Well, we haven't been successful hooking it up. We having a time hooking it up. We've been in the house a whole year and we cannot figure out how to hook it up. And my nephew was supposed to come over and help him, but because of his work schedule, he ain't had time to hook it up. So Christopher tells the little boy, you know, I got the PlayStation 5, so he wanted the PlayStation 4. So at first I was like, I was thinking about giving it to him. So Christopher said no. He was like, I want my game console because the PlayStation 5 is at grandma's house. I'm always there, and I want the PlayStation 4 at your house when I come over there. So I thought about, and this is before everything in my life went haywire, I was thinking about saving up some money and buying the young man a PlayStation 5, okay? And buying him a couple of games. Now, that's a very expensive gift because the PlayStation 5 is, I'm trying to think. The PlayStation 5 it's expensive. It's probably about $500, okay? So I was gonna save up the money and I was just gonna give the young, because he's really a nice young man. Then Christopher tells me that the young man is in a gang. So I'm like, in a gang? And he's like, yeah. He said he is really a good kid. He said, but I think he come from a family where, you know, a lot of his family members are in a gang. So I'm like, oh, okay. He said, but, you know, we cool and everything, you know, this, that, and the other. I said, okay. So I said, I was gonna, so my mother said, well, you know what we could do? We could go in together, $250. You pay $250, I pay $250. We get him some games and we give it to him. I was gonna ask Christopher to ask the young man to give me his mom's number, and I was gonna call her and tell her who I was and tell her that I was, letting her know that I bought it, so she wouldn't think he stole it or, he got it from wherever. I was gonna let her know. Well, that never came into, we never did it, right? So Chris said, I feel so sorry for him, because, he said, I can tell that, he don't have a lot because, his mom is struggling, And so I told Chris, I said, well, you're very fortunate and blessed because you do have a mom who have a decent job, even though, I got a lot of stuff, a lot of bills. I said, but you do have a decent job. I have a decent job. And I said, and, that's the good thing. I said, then you got a grandma, who really buys you the stuff that you want. I said, every kid, don't have that. He said, yeah, and I feel really bad for him. Okay, so Christopher has a new iPhone 6. Now, I had to get Christopher a new cell phone, because the one he had was a 10XR. They don't even make those anymore. So they don't even make those anymore, right? So his phone was acting real wonky and weird and everything. So the phone really don't work anymore. He kept the phone, but you really can't do nothing with that phone. So he saw yesterday that Christopher had a new phone. So he asked him, he said, oh, I see you got a new phone. So Chris said, yeah. He said, what phone is that? So Christopher said, this is the iPhone 16. He said, I had a 10XR, but now I have this one. So you know what I'm about to say, right? So he asked Christopher, ask your mom if I can get your old phone. So I don't know what kind of phone he got. I think Chris said he got an Android. So I'm like, so Christopher said, I know. He said, and I told him, that phone don't even work, man. He was like, well, I could probably take it and have them do something. And he said, well, if that's the case, I could have kept it. He said, we took it to T-Mobile and tried to get it fixed, and we couldn't. So I don't know if he didn't believe Chris or not, but Chris was, he was like, I don't want to, he said, I get that they struggling financially or whatever. He said, and I don't want to be mean to him. He was like, but, and I said, so I told Chris, I said, look, I said, just tell Brandon that the phone does not work. And that's it. That's all, And he was like, he told me, he said he kind of got on my nerve a little bit, He said, because he just, every time I get something, here he come, asking me, about it or whatever. And I said, well, that would get on my nerve too. I said, but you got to remember what you just said. His mother don't have it, and he's looking at you and he's like, okay, your mama a single mother too, but you seem to get everything. This is the same young man who, when they went to the school dance, the homecoming dance, Christopher comes out with him talking about, can you take him home? I was like, take him home? I was like, where you live? And I said, I can't just put you in my car and take you home. I said, I have to get permission from your mother if it's okay for me to bring you home. I said, because if something was to happen to you, I'm responsible. I'm liable because you're in my car. So I said, how did you get here? He said, she dropped me off. He said, but she can't come back for me. So I said, okay, call your mother and let me talk to your mother. So he calls his mother. Somebody was asking me about this. This is Max Studio Radiance concealer that I'm using. This is NW40. Somebody had asked me about this concealer. That's what this is. So I said, call your mother up and let me talk to your mother. So he said, okay. So she gets on the phone and I tell her who I am. And you know, Christopher and her son go to school together, blah, blah, blah. I said, the dance is over with. And I said, and I don't want to leave him standing here. And she said, I can't come back and get him because, I don't remember what she said, why she couldn't come back and get him. And she said, but he can go home. It's some other boys at the school. And he can ride back. He can get on the bus with them or something. I said, it's 10:30 because the dance is over with like 10. And so now it's about, it's close to 10:30. I said, well, it's 10:30 outside. I said, so you want him to ride the bus? So she was like, well, I can't come back. I said, okay. I said, I'm calling you because I can bring him home, but I need to know if you're okay with me bringing him home, because if something happens, I'm liable. So she said, oh, okay. She said, oh, that's so sweet of you. I said, but I need your permission because I'm not going to just drop him off without your permission. So she said, oh, that's fine. Yeah, you can bring him home. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping me. I just couldn't come back and get him. And so I guess she felt bad that I'm thinking, why you can't come back and get him? But I didn't know her situation. I don't know. I don't really even believe she brought him. I believe he came with some other kids. That's what I think. But I think she just told me that because she didn't want to look like, But I wasn't letting him get on no bus at 10:30 at night. And a lot of the parents, when I went to pick Christopher up, were not there. I'm like, you all know what time this dance in. Why y'all not up here? I was outside waiting. So she said, yeah, you can bring him home. So I did. I took him home. So when we dropped him off, I told Christopher, I said, let me tell you something. I said, don't bring no kids in my car. Talking about, can you take them home? I said, okay. I said, I don't know these little boys that you hang with at school or whatever. I said, I don't know them. I don't know their parents. And I said, and Chris, I can't just take people's kids home. Kids take people's kids home without talking to the parent. I said, because if we're driving and I get in the car stand, they're gonna say, well, I didn't know that my kid was in the car with her. And I said, they're gonna want to sue me. I said, so if a kid, if he don't have a way home and you want me to take him home, I said, first of all, you need to give me a heads up before you just bring him to the car. I said, and secondly, they need to call their parent. So then there was another time. Same thing. She wasn't up there at the school. And so that time, he did ride back home with some kids. There was another parent or something that took him home. I don't remember how it went. So Chris was like, oh, okay. I said, I know you don't know this. I said, but I'm telling you, don't just spring that on me like that. So, You know, because I like I said, I be thinking, I don't want nothing to happen to nobody kid on my watch. I don't want nobody saying, well, he was with her, you know, and something happened to him, and she didn't call me, and I didn't even know. No, I need your permission. I ain't put nobody in my car without a parent saying it's okay. So Chris was saying that he kind of like getting on his nerve, you know, because he said every time I get something, he said when I had the Nike Tech jacket, he said he asked me, could he have my old one? I said, well, you ain't tell me about that. He said, I just didn't say nothing, you know. He said, but he just really, you know, he just starting to get on my nerve. And I said, well, I can understand that. I said, but you do what you just said. You have to realize that, you know, he don't have it like other kids have it. I said, and it's just really unfortunate, and it's just really sad. I said, but that's just the way that it is, you know. And he was like, yeah. He was like, I know. So I feel bad for him. You know, being a single mom, like I said, and you have kids and you can't afford all of this high price stuff that the rest of these kids have, you know, it's messed up. I rubbed that in good. So that's what was happening yesterday. So I told him, I said, well, I said, you know, I asked him, I said, are you scared of him because he in a gang? He was like, no, I ain't scared of him. He said, but he just gets on my nerve. So his best friend that had got in the car the last week when I was on live, he said they don't talk to each other at all. He said they don't really care for each other. And he said, sometimes I feel like I'm in the middle. He said, because I was Brandon's friend, you know, in freshman year before I had went to the other school and met Leonard. He said, but me and Leonard have, you know, we besties, you know, they like best friends. And he was like, and now I'm best friends with Leonard. He said, I think Brandon is a little jealous. And I was like, yeah, probably. You know, he was saying how, you know, Brandon look at how him and Leonard have certain things. And, you know, he probably feel a little left out. And it's just really unfortunate. But I said, well, he can't have everything that you have, you know, that you're not using or whatever. I said, that's just not how that go. And he was like, yeah, I know. He was like, he just, you know, he said, like I said, he said, he just get on my nerve. And I said, well, I said, as long as he not bullying you for it, I said, then, you know, we good. I said, but when that starts to happen, then he gonna have a problem. So I can kind of tell Chris don't want to really be bothered with him. And I don't blame him. He said, I talked to him and everything. He said, well, we ain't as tight as we used to be, you know. And I said, yeah, I get it. He said, he just, every time I got something on, you know, whatever. And they wear uniforms, you know. But most of those kids there wear those Nike Tech hoodies and stuff like that. That's why Christopher wanted a Nike Tech hoodie. That stuff is not cheap. And Christopher has 3 Nike Tech hoodies. I remember when he wanted the first one. He was bugging me about that hoodie. It's getting on my nerve. And he finally got one. He went to, and he really didn't even ask me. He just went on and bought it. He found one. He went to the mall for his friend's birthday. and it was on sale. And he had his little debit card, and he bought it. He gonna text me, this Nike hoodie is on sale. Can I get it? And I went on and let him get it. I said, yeah, you can use your card and go on and get it. That was the first one. Since then, he's bought a cream one. When you all sent those gift cards, I took some of those gift cards for the housewarming party. And I got him some shoes and the gift card. He still want those shoes that I was trying to find for him, but he didn't. He ended up getting some New Balances. So since then, he's had a cream Nike Tech hoodie, and for his birthday this past year, his aunt bought him a black one. So he's had, he just blessed like that, because a lot of things I don't buy, other people buy. Other people, like Angel has sent Chris money. She sent him money for his birthday. Metal Shrub sent him money for his birthday. So, and it's other friends and other family. And he's just a blessed kid. He's always been that type of kid where people that I didn't even know, or people that I did know, be like, I want to send Chris some money for his birthday, or whatever. So, I mean, he's fortunate that he has people in his life that's able to do for him when I can't do it. And I thank God for that. He don't get everything he want, because that's just the way that it is, And even when you got two parents in the home, if you all got a lot of bills, it's hard. It's hard. My mother and father, we didn't get all that stuff. I ain't have all that Gucci stuff in high school. I ain't have it. And I worked, but, I still couldn't afford it. So, I don't know. These kids. And this young man, he worked. He got him a job. He told Chris that he helps his mom, which is a good thing, So, it's just sad. And I don't understand why all this shit costs as much as it do. Can't even afford it. Working people can't afford it. Just don't make no sense. I'm like, it don't make sense that this stuff got to be this damn high. It's ridiculous. Those essential shirts, a black designer made them essential shirts and sweatshirts. We found one, I don't know if it's an original one. We found one at Burlington. I think it was like $40. But you buy them off of Amazon, one shirt is $100. For it to say essentials and something about God. What? Why? Just crazy. That's crazy. It just don't make no sense. I'm like, a t-shirt is $100? Like, you got to be freaking kidding me. You got all these teenagers walking around with this shit on that ain't got no job. That is just crazy to me, really. A kid got killed last weekend for his gym shoes. Unnecessary stuff. Anyway, you all, I'm gonna let y'all go. I really didn't have a real topic to talk about. Only topic, really thing I wanted to get on here and tell y'all, you know, just pray for our city. Just pray for our city. Because it's just ridiculous. The crime here is just ridiculous. Just sad. And pray for me that I don't hurt nobody. That I don't hurt this fool here. Because I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him. Sick of him. Oh. Let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all what I bought. I meant to do this yesterday. But this is what I picked up from TJ Maxx. So these are some earrings. Aren't those pretty? They had them in pink and blue. That's how they look in the back. I don't know, this one look a little funny, like it should have a drop like that one, but it don't. So I got quite a bit of blue to wear, but I thought they were really cute. These were $14.99, and these are by Piper K. Have you ever heard of Piper K? They have a lot of, TJ Maxx carry a lot of Piper K jewelry. And they also had them in pink. Very pretty. Let me wrap these back up, because Lady did wrap them really good. Almost gonna forget to show y'all. And then I bought this necklace. Let's see if I can get it out the box. Y'all can see it. See that? So it's got a little pearls in it. It's got a little purple. And this is how it connects on the back, and it's got these little strings. And it was on clearance for $16. It originally was $19.99. But I loved it. I just loved it. And like I said, in them purple crystals. So that was the necklace. That's one necklace that I bought. I was looking for me a liquid eyeliner, and I found this one. It was for $5.99. It's called Black Liqueur. So I'm gonna see how that works, because I want a black felt tip eyeliner pencil, because I wanna start learning how to draw the wing on the eye. And then I also bought this dual underlash bond and seal, because you all know that I was telling you all that sometimes my eyes swell from wearing the strip eyelashes. So I have some individual eyelashes, and I'm gonna use this to put my eyelashes on. I'm gonna see how that works. So that was that out of this bag. Yeah. Oh, it's up under here, child. Hold on. And then I bought this the other day. Okay, so you see that, you know that necklace that I just showed you all? Look. They'll match these earrings, those earrings. And that's how they look on the back. That's how you put them on. These were $9.99. But they match this necklace. Pull this necklace back out. You see how they match the necklace? See that? Because it's got that same kind of shine. So when I saw this necklace, I had already bought the earrings. So I was like, oh, I got to get the necklace because this matches perfectly. Perfectly. So I should just put these in here with this. This would have been a nice gift to give to somebody. TJ Maxx has very pretty jewelry. Almost all my jewelry come from TJ Maxx. All these rings except this one. This one came from Punta Cana. But every other ring came from TJ Maxx. And this is starting to turn. I thought it was genuine, you know. I thought it was you know, real silver, but it's not. But I've also bought this bracelet from TJ Maxx. It has not turned. And the other thing that I bought from TJ Maxx day before yesterday was this necklace. So you remember the white dress that I showed you all? Remember that white dress that I showed in that video last week? That's what I'm gonna put on with this. I'm gonna wear this necklace with that white dress. And it has a little gold in it. But look at how pretty that big flower is. That is so pretty. And then it has a big clasp on it. And I like that. And it was $14.99. So I ain't spent a lot of money. But this one is called Gardenia. And it says Mother of Pearl Natural Stone Seashell. In your hands is an original necklace designed by Gardenia Jewelry, which is expertly handmade in China, by artisan jewelry crafters. At Gardenia, we are passionate about creating one-of-a-kind quality designs that are always on trend, fashionable, and fun. We hope you enjoy this perfect complement to your outfits for years to come. And then they do have a website. Visit us at www.gardeniahandmade.com. I just thought it was gorgeous. I always try to read, you know, who designs stuff, you know. But this is so, so pretty. So I'm going to wear that with that white dress. And like I said, I know I got other white jewelry around the house. I know I do. But I like this. So that's what I'm going to wear with that white dress. Whenever, you know, whenever I do wear it. But I thought for $16, I was like, that's pretty reasonable. It was pretty. I went into Macy's last week, was walking through there, and I told my mother, I said, I'm going to go over here and look at the jewelry. She said, okay, I'm going in the Bath and Body Works. Child, I came right up out of there. They wanted too much money for just a pair of earrings, just for a pair of silver earrings. They wanted $30 for a pair of silver. I was like, nah. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I will spend a nice little buck on some earrings. Like these earrings were $40 from TJ Maxx. They need to be clean. They haven't turned because they are 100% sterling silver. That's what I was trying to say about the bracelet. So I'll spend that on some earrings, but I ain't want to spend that the other day. I was like, no, I'm gonna have to decline that. I ain't doing that one. Macy's jewelry is kind of expensive. I know I can go to TJ Maxx and get it a little cheaper. So you all, I'm going to let you go. Happy Friday. Have a great, blessed day. I will see you guys back on here tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow. So have a great day. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching all the videos. Thank you to the newbies that are here. I appreciate you all so very much. Continue to pray for me, and I'm going to pray for you. Okay? All right, y'all have a good day. Okay, be blessed.